All right, I'm doing something different. I put my feet kind of in the water. I had to move back. They were in the water, but then my chair was getting too wet. But look how pretty. Look how pretty the sky is. I love sitting here. I just sit here and I just like think, I think of like my mom, I think of Bridget, I think of Ed, I think of my life, reflecting. And I actually dance to the song. I think I'm going to post it. But, since I'm getting in the country thing and just reminiscing about my past and like looking at the gratitude and the fun and, the good stuff. And it's all good. But this song, Meet in the Middle, and and it was funny. It reminded me of when I was a kid, because I had some of my best friends, they lived in different spots, but like we weren't that far away, and so we would walk and meet in the middle, and we meet at the park, or we would walk to meet in the middle, then walk to one person's house to spend the night. We pack a bag. It was so much fun. Like that was a shit. Wasn't it? Like, I've been thinking about that a lot. Like, just being raised in a small town, and we had connection, and we spent time with each other. We would just sit and hang out and talk. I mean, people don't talk anymore. They don't. It's going to be like this massive stimulation that has to, this false, like, sense of not necessarily security, but this grandiose thing. And it's like people are too stuck on their phones, or too stuck, and I know where I am right now, obviously, but what I'm saying is, those things matter, and I'm really realizing how much we need to get back to that old school stuff. Like even thinking about, and then the story, remember I was telling you about my first spouse. Well, I was thinking about this, and I know I haven't really talked about it a lot, but some of the things that help guide my life is I get like synchronicity signs. And a few years ago, I was getting them at hearts. And my mom's like, her spirit animal was like a butterfly. So when I see butterflies, I think of her. And so I started getting these signs of like hearts, like, I don't know, a few years ago. And I wasn't sure who it was. And at the time, I really hadn't healed a lot of the deep wounds and guilt that I had from when I was widowed. And so I didn't really talk about it a lot, because I felt guilty. And so I didn't really think about it, but I put two and two together, and I was in a bad car accident over a year ago, and I was T-boned. It was the same style of accident that he passed away from. And not only that, but I have been getting synchronicity signs like several months prior, and I was trying to put the puzzle pieces together. It was like I thought it might have been my mom, but I was like I didn't know, and stuff. But then after the accident, all my airbags went off, and the only physical mark I had, which I've been taking pictures of this. I've sent them to my children, so my children know, is I had a blister in the shape of a heart on my right hand. And so I thought about it, and then time passed. It was like the next, and I put the two and two together, and I was like, oh my gosh, it was been Ed all along. And how I realized that too, I was thinking, when he passed away, his cause of death was his heart exploded. And then, since reminiscing on my past, so then I knew that the hearts was him. And so I feel him, because I do feel energy, and the more I feel like I heal myself, I can feel it more and more. And so it's like, I don't know, it's kind of like I feel their spirit, I feel, I don't know, their love, and I know he's helped me guide my life, like, helped me manifest a wonderful stepdad for my kids, because he wasn't able to provide that for them, and so like I say, there's no rules in what you believe, but if it feels right for you, then it's right. And it feels right for me, and it makes me feel comforted, it makes me feel good, and I found my way. Not because I'm told, not because it's what I feel, because I'm guilted and shamed into it. It's because I've decided that I've done the hard thing, and I have fought to be free. And to be able to decide for myself how I want to live my life, the choices I make, and I've stood up to that, and I've lived in faith, and you know what? It's worked, and it's led me here, and I'm happy because I'm finding my way, and I'm able to now learn how to hold space for people and have love without attachment. And it feels great because I've held on to this attachment to him for over 22 years, and now I feel like I'm proud to say I'll always love him like I loved him, and I'm not going to be ashamed to say that. and I always will, right? But I don't have that attachment to it. Like, it's like I hold that love, but it doesn't, it's freeing. And so I'm learning how to apply that in my everyday life with others, because you can't control others. And you can have love for someone, and maybe they're not at a certain place in their life, or maybe you're not in alignment, or maybe they're just, because we all have free will, and everyone is responsible to make their own choices. And maybe they're just, people aren't going to make the right choices. They're not going to decide the same, and it's okay. But we got to stay true to us, and we can't cave because we feel bad, and we can't give in on what we feel is right for us and our life and our happiness for somebody else. We got to lead by example here, and the whole point of this life, I believe, is to learn that, figure that out, and to live by our happiness and listen to our soul, be able to listen to our intuition and guide from our heart, because that's where our love is. But we got to clear this trauma, because if not, we're thinking from our mind and we're trying to be logical, and that just doesn't work. Then our ego takes over. And then we start thinking all these unhealthy thoughts about people, and then we're not trusting no one. I realize that. I allowed that. I've allowed insecurities, and especially with my past situation for my ex-boyfriend, I didn't realize, the damage that I allowed. I would feel insecure, not good enough, like this unhealthy stimulation. Sometimes we think all the stimulation's good. It's not. It disrupts your nervous system. It gets you questioning yourself. You don't make good decisions. It's we've got to learn how to trust. We got to learn how to lead with love, and believe the best in others, and believe that what's right for us is going to find us, as long as we do the right thing in life, and we move our life, for the right reasons, right? It matters. It matters, because the decisions we make do affect our future, and it does affect how we're going to be in our life, and the type of life we create. And I'm starting to really see what's, and ask myself that. And so that's why, this alone time is wonderful. Just sitting here, it's I've learned how to slow my life down, and that's not been easy, because, man, looking back, and I remember when I first took my first yoga class, I was a hot mess express. I was flailing my legs around. I was late. I was always, oh my goodness, and slowly over the years, I've learned the tools, and I've learned the things to be able to help me to calm my nervous system, which now I realize is the nervous system, through our mind, through breath, awareness, mind, body, spirit alignment. And we got to have it physically. We got to be healthy and well. You have to be. Because if you're not well physically, your body's not going to work right. Your organs aren't going to work right. You're going to be sick. You're always going to be sick. You're not going to feel good. You're not going to breathe right. We're not even taught how to breathe right. I've had to learn that. I now can breathe properly, and it feels good. And then that helps you in other areas. You actually get healthier, and it's worth it. But we got to take the effort. We got to take the steps, and that's going to require us to be honest with ourselves. It's going to require us to do the hard thing, right? Sometimes say the hard thing, learn how to speak our needs, and it's okay. It's okay to say, if we need, I'm learning how to do that. I'm learning how to receive. I've had to ask people for hugs. Can I have a hug? I'm always the one giving out hugs, I actually did that at the gym today. I could sense someone needed a hug, and I went up because, I knew him. And he told me that he was struggling with some things, and he thanked me. And I was like, well, I just could feel it. I don't know. Something told me this person needed a hug. And so I'm listening to my intuition. And then sometimes I need a hug, and I say that. I give hugs every day at work, and it's wonderful. It's a great exchange. There's nothing weird about it. We need that, especially if maybe we live alone, or we don't have a partner. It's not easy, and especially if you're a loving person, which when we get to our true soul nature, that naturally comes out, right? We start feeling that because we love ourselves. And so then, because we love ourselves internally, externally, that starts manifesting, and we start displaying that and showing that. And that's kind of like the place I'm at, and it feels great, because I really do love others. I really, really do. And I want to be able to be my true authentic self, and be able to hold space and love and say that I love you, and not be weird about it, right? Not think that, well, I can't say it if they don't feel it, or I don't know how this person feels. No. It's not weird. It's natural. And little by little, the more that we work on ourselves and the more that we undo this, because most of us end up misaligned with people, and so then we learn we shut down. And then it becomes the opposite. Like everything's like opposite of like what's right and natural is like opposite now. I don't know if anyone else has noticed it, but I surely do. And I'm not going to be ashamed to say that, but that doesn't make it right. And that doesn't mean that I'm just going to go with it. No, it's not right. I want to bring this stuff back, just like I want to bring back old school, where people spend time with each other and there's effort and there's actual care and concern. You know, everyone's so busy. What are you busy doing? Like, busy doing what? Watching things that aren't gonna help your life, that aren't gonna move your life forward in any way. Busy worried about, you know, the next best thing or getting this fancy schmancy thing. Like, that's what you're worried about? Well, how about worried about being a good person and like living in faith and like doing the right thing in life and like treating others the right way and thinking of others. But this sense of entitlement where everyone's just like every man for himself, and then people are going around just hurting each other and mistreating each other, and then blaming it on the fact because they were mistreated. Well, then fix your stuff first, because that's not fair. You know, once we come to awareness, I know we all do it, you know, we do it unintentionally, but we gotta be, you know, it's important to be honest with ourselves. And that's, like I said, that's always been my goal. So, you know, and I don't know, it's just, it's a freeing feeling, you know, and, you know, we all have a purpose, and I feel like I'm kind of figuring mine out. And honestly, you know what I really think it is, our purpose is just for us to be happy, to be truly happy, to learn how to stand up for ourselves, to learn how to undo all these unhealthy things of this controlling mindset of all the things we're told, and realize that these are things we're told. That doesn't make it true. It doesn't make it the law. It doesn't make it, and I know it's not easy to open our minds. I mean, I was raised in one of the most strict religions, you know, talk about not being easy to open your mind. Like, that's been a struggle. I went from a Jehovah's Witness to a yogi and being spiritual. You know, it's completely changing my life. You know, I've been through many phases of my life. It's kind of cool though. I feel like that. I'm like, I've met many different people. I've experienced many different things, and it's neat. I kind of feel like I've had many different lives, you know. It's cool. I'm glad I can say that, because not everyone can say that. Some people just, it's one thing, you know, they've, been in the same town or done the same thing, and it's like, no, I've done many things, and so it's cool. Like, I have fun with it, but I love who I am now. And I feel like I've been able to take all of it, and I've been able to learn the balance for myself. And that's how it should be. You decide for you. Like, we all have our journey for a reason. We've all experienced what we've been through for a reason. And if we truly make the right decisions, okay, and do the right, and we move out of love, then our life's going to end up where it's supposed to be, and we will be truly happy. There's no doubt in my mind. And I've had it proven to me many, many times by my synchronicities, my signs and synchronicities. And I'll talk about it a little bit more and more each time. But the heart thing. Oh, and then I didn't even finish that. You see how I get off track? But anyway, so the whole point of the heart thing, how I knew after the accident. So today I was thinking, and it came to me because reminiscent about the past. Remember when I said how my spouse was incarcerated before we got together? Well, the time that he we would write letters. And I remember one letter he wrote me, and he told me, you know, and he put P.S. He goes, and he stamped it with an upside down heart, and he goes, an upside down heart means I love you. And that was like his first sign that he kind of told me he loved me, is he said it that way. And it was sweet. And I never forgot that. And you know what? I think of that, the hearts. He's been my heart this whole time. And when I look back, it's like, it's love. It's the love that you have for somebody. And not giving up on people that you love and that you say that you care about. because that really ultimately is all that matters. And it's worth fighting for. Like, I waited for him. I didn't put my life on hold. I won't. I don't give up living. I'm still going to put myself first, but I knew. I lived in faith. I knew how I felt inside. And we've got to learn how to get to our feelings inside and live our life and be able to make decisions by how we truly feel. And like I said, it's not something you can force. It's not something, but in order for us to understand how we truly feel, we've got to find our way, not the way that we're told. And it's not saying that anyone's done anything bad. It's not saying that our life up until then and until we become aware and until we realize that is a mistake or we've done something wrong. It's always meant for us. No, it all has been meant for us. But our point is to wake up and realize, like, what makes me happy. And when we move out of that, that's the whole point of life, right? Doing the right thing, being a good person. We got to get back to that. Like, seriously, I can't stress it enough, and I see it so much, and I feel, because I spend a lot of alone time now. I'm pretty much by myself all the time, and I like it. It's nice. You know, I still, obviously talk to people, and I do this, and I voice message people, but I'm saying, like, I don't go out like I did. I do more of this. This is more healing for me because I'm moving my life forward, and I'm creating the life I want for myself. And like I said, I realized, like, I was partaking in environments that weren't healthy for me. That wasn't the life that I wanted. And it wasn't my purpose. It wasn't. I know what it is. Because I know how I feel, and I'm confident in how I feel. Now, how that's going to manifest and how that's going to play out, I don't know. That's what I realized. I've let go of control, and that's another thing. It's like learning how to truly let go of control, because we do. We're taught that. We're taught that we can somehow manipulate the external. You can't. You can't control people. You can't control situations. You can't make someone be, do, say anything. No, you can't. The only thing you can do is yourself, right? And so that's what I realized. And so learning how to let go, because I was trying to be worried, like, how am I going to do this? And how is this going to happen? I don't know how to do this. And how am I going to figure this all out? And the anxiety, I couldn't sleep at night. I was a mess. That's why we get unhealthy addictions. Because our brain starts going in fight or flight, and it's racing 100 miles an hour. Our nervous system's so disrupted. We can't think left or right. It's exhausting. So I've learned how to be like, you know what? Even though I was living in faith, I wasn't living in faith in that way. I somehow felt like it was up to me to figure it all out. And I'm like, no, wait a minute. No, I've got to let that go. And how that's going to manifest and who that's going to manifest with, I can't control that. I got to go by how I feel. I got to really focus on getting to know my true feelings, right? How I feel inside, and move that way. And trust that what's meant for me is truly going to manifest when it's right, but not forcing it, not trying to control it, not trying to make things happen. That's not healthy. And we don't realize the areas that we do it. We don't. But awareness, when we become aware, and then we can look back and we can reflect on maybe past situations that maybe we did, that's how when we become aware of it, we can fix it. Because you can't fix it if you're not aware. Some people, we have chances left and right. Like, we become aware, but we choose to make excuses or not look at it, because then that requires us being honest and actually making a change. And, change is scary, but it's for the better. That's the thing. It's all in perception. It's all in how we're looking at it. It's all in our perspective. That if we look at things as like, this is a chance for me to learn and grow, this is for my benefit, this is to help teach me something, and then we can take that lesson and then we use it that way. That's how our life works out. And then little by little, it gets better and better. We figure ourselves out. But it's possible. But we've got to tell ourselves that, and we can't give up on ourselves. I can't stress it enough. And it's not giving up mind, body, spirit. It's not picking and choosing. You don't get to pick and choose. Like, okay, I'm going to do well in this area, but this area I suck. Like, that's not going to work. You've got to try in all three here. And I'm proud to say that I have always. And that's always been my goal, and even more so now. I'm really, really understanding it, and it feels good. So, one last look. I'll just sit here and breathe. I'm like, helps you release. It's good. If you're able to, get outside, put your feet in the sand, put your feet on a tree, put your feet in the water, do something, meditate, think. Even just ponder about life, ponder about your life, ponder about the type of person you want to be, think about it. Why can't you? Believe in yourself. Tell yourself good things. You should. We're not telling ourselves enough good things. Tell yourself you can do it. Believe in yourself. Tell yourself that I have real faith and I know that I'm gonna figure it out. I can figure it out. Even when you don't know, we gotta try. We gotta try. Seriously, it matters. Because it really is all about the love. I'm feeling it lately, man, and I realize that. Like, and that's what I realized too, like with that, it's like, we try to think that we have to let go and we have to move on. No, I'm not. I'm not letting go. Why would I want to let go of love? No. But I got to learn how to keep that inside. Like I said, hold space, but and be proud that I was able to experience that. And that was a part of my life that I treasure. All of it. Because it's special. And some people go their whole lives and never get to experience that. And this time I get to experience it fully, in full effect, that deep, genuine love, but also in a healthy way, right? Where you have fun and you're free and you say good things to each other and your life's filled with like all good people and you're kind and you have that intimacy, like true intimacy. Nothing like it, man. And it's possible, but we gotta tell ourselves that. If we don't say that, then it's not gonna happen. You gotta believe in yourself, but you also have to take the steps to make it happen, and that means living in alignment. You can't go making poopy decisions and then think that you're gonna get that. That's not real. That's not balance. It's not gonna work. So that's why I'm glad. It's like I'm living the life and that I really want for myself. I'm being kind to myself. I'm saying good things. I'm only having good people in my life. Like I'm not allowing that anymore, and it's wonderful. So seriously, keep at it because it's worth it.